Ian here with Minuteman Theory, and in today's video we're going to be going over everyday carry and concealed carry. So, what would you think if I told you that I was carrying a SIG 365, a tourniquet, flashlight, pair of cuffs, multi-tool, all on my person right now? If you look, you can see I'm literally wearing gym shorts and a t-shirt, okay? Now, I'm also carrying a handcuff key. So, I'm going to show you how I have that set up. So, here it is. So I'm going to pull everything out, and I'm going to show you everything. This is my SIG 365, set of handcuffs, spare mag. I have a tourniquet in this pouch. I have a multi-tool in this pouch. I have a pair of handcuffs right here. So we're going to go put everything out on the table, and I'll kind of explain everything. All right, so this belt is an Amazon special. Nothing crazy about it. The only thing that's actually custom is this holster right here for my SIG 365. Now, I got this off Crossbreed Holsters, and we're not sponsored. That's just where I got it. And the reason I got this is because I am a left-handed shooter, and so it's always difficult to find a holster that fits correctly. And also, what we'll do is I'll show you, I'm also carrying a TRL 6 on this. So this is just a flashlight. But the holster is specifically set up for this gun. It's specifically set up to be left-handed, and it's specifically set up for that light. Now, if you look over, where's that at? Right here. So this is originally where you're supposed to be able to put your gun. I have never had any success with that because it always binds up like right here or right here. I don't recommend using that. I recommend if you're going to use a belly band such as this, you get an actual holster form fitted for your firearm. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through everything that I carry on my belt. So pull this out, make this clear. Firearm is clear. So, this is a SIG 365. It's got the night sights on it, and like I said, it has the Streamlight TRL 6. I picked this up about 5 years ago. This has been my everyday carry for 5 years. Literally, it's got a lot of, you can see some wear marks on it because this is my every single day I'm carrying this firearm. And I'm carrying law enforcement Hornady critical duty. The reason I'm carrying law enforcement Hornady critical duty is because I've also qualified with this firearm. So that means that according to my department, I can carry this off duty and not have any issues. Laws for different policies for different police departments are different, but in mine specifically, if you're going to carry a specific firearm off duty or you're going to carry it in sort of a duty capacity, you have to qualify with it. So I have qualified with this firearm. We're good there. Now you're going to start to notice a trend here. I'm a very big Streamlight person. They're cheap. They used to be cheap, but I've never had an issue with them, and they seem to be they seem to be up to the task every time. So I'm carrying a Streamlight wedge as a flashlight. Now, some people may say that you already have a flashlight on your gun, and that's fine, but if I need to pull out a flashlight to use it for anything, I don't want to be waving my gun at somebody, so it's good to have two sets of flashlights. So we're carrying a 10-round mag with the 365 for the moment because it actually conceals a little bit better, but I'm carrying a 12-round mag. I also have a 12-round mag as a backup. Now, do I think that I'm going to need 22, 23 rounds in a firefight? No. Do I trust that this mag is going to work every single time? No. That's why you always carry a backup. Now we have a set of cuffs. Now, for your particular situation, it might be different. I know the overwhelming majority of people aren't going to carry handcuffs. That is absolutely fine. You have no reason to. If you want to, that's also fine. The reason I carry handcuffs is because, again, even though I'm off duty, if something really bad were to happen, I have a duty to act, right? If there's a robbery or there's a forcible felony going on, I do have a duty to act. So that's what these are for. Now, on my badge holder, where did that go? Right here. So this is just an Amazon special badge holder. I pulled my badge off again, but I have a handcuff key. Okay, that always goes with me as well. So that means that not only can I put the cuffs on, I can double lock them so that they don't seize up on somebody or they don't make it ratchet even tighter. Then I can. Again, this is not ideal, but this is the off-duty carry. So it's not going to be the latest and greatest. So all I have to do is unhook them, and we're done. Again, if you want to carry handcuffs, great. If you don't want to carry handcuffs, that is entirely up to you. I recommend trying to find a decent brand. These are Chinese knockoffs because, again, it's off duty. I'm not actively looking to use these for any reason. If I have to, I have them. And now in here, I have a rat's tourniquet. So again, we always harp around here about being first aid, being ready, all that. I carry a tourniquet just because, again, you never know when you're going to need to use a tourniquet. I could probably put some more stuff in here, but again, we're looking at, do I really want to have everything all the time on my bat belt? Probably not. So this is what I've just decided is going to be the best thing to have all around at all times. Just throw that belt on and it's already there. And now lastly, we have a Gerber multi-tool. Okay, we have knives. It's just a traditional multi-tool. There's nothing really special about it. I used to carry neck knives, but when I'm carrying my badge, it's nice to have an actual factual knife that I don't have to have on my neck because I've already got something there. And it has the benefits of having tweezers. No, it doesn't have tweezers, but it has scissors, bottle opener, screwdriver, all the stuff you would associate with a multi-tool. And that, everybody, is my everyday carry. That's and I'm constantly running around in gym shorts and a t-shirt. And it's really great because this is ultra concealed. It's very deep concealment. You can go to the store, nobody will know. They look at you like, oh, he's in gym shorts and a t-shirt. But I have everything that I need. I have everything that I need in case of emergency. Now, the final thing is, if I actually feel like there's a possibility of there being an emergency, I will carry one of my Baofangs. I will carry one of my radios, and I can actually get on and talk to dispatch through that radio if I have to. And that's been done. That was done one time. I ended up getting stuck out in the woods. I needed to use my radio. I was able to get a hold of dispatch on my Baofang, say, hey, here's what's going on. I need help. And they sent somebody out to help me. Again, this is all situational dependent. This is all based on my situation. Brad's is going to be completely different. Anything to add?
Yeah, one question that I'll ask you is, besides the radio, is there any situation where your EDC changes?
Yes, my EDC changes actually on multiple situations. So it will change if let's say that I'm going to a state that has magazine restrictions. As opposed to carrying my SIG, I will carry a 1911 because again, it's only 7 to 8 rounds. We'll get into vehicles later, but that's one of the situations. The other situation is if I'm in the woods, I'm not carrying any of this. I'm going to carry a revolver. I'm going to carry a med kit on me. That's when that would change. So those would be the two really main reasons that things would change. Magazine restrictions in different states. Now, even though I'm with Leosa and I can carry in all 50 states, I still have to abide by the magazine restrictions. I have to abide by the ammunition restrictions. I have to abide by all that stuff. So if I'm going to, let's say, Spokane, which we've done in the past, I will take out anything that has less than 10 or that carries more than 10 rounds, and I will throw in a shotgun that only holds between 5 and 6, and my 1911, which only carries between 8 and 9. So again, I don't want to get hemmed up on whatever states laws are and things like that, because I have to set or exceed the standard. So
all right, so now my EDC is a lot different than Ian's, but of course we have different professions, we live different lives, so that makes sense. And I think that's a core thing about EDC is you shouldn't model your EDC off of anybody in particular, because your life is different than everybody else's life, and what you need is going to be different than everybody else. So first, I guess I'll start with this. So I carry a SIG P365, kind of like Ian, but I have the XL model, so it's a bit bigger, and I have it in an Alienware holster, and it's kind of dirty because it's in my pants every day, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. The other thing is I carry a folding knife, just a pocket knife with a Tonto blade, and we can get into about that later. I'm not a huge fan of the Tonto blade, but I do carry one. And then, of course, wallet, and there's some stuff in there that I'll show you. And then a Write in the Rain notebook, because I'm always writing notes, and these Write in the Rain notebooks are awesome. carry a flash drive because I work in tech, and so I'm always needing tools or needing to transfer files and that sort of thing, so flash drive is a must. Carry a permanent marker. Carry a Bic lighter. And I carry a pen. This is a Write in the Rain pen. I'm not sure if I can actually recommend this, even though it's been a good pen, but they're kind of expensive. They're a little more expensive than I think they're worth, but a pen. And then over here, I carry lockpicks. And this is also where I keep a spare magazine for my SIG. And then also a cell phone. And the cell phone doubles as a flashlight. Now, I used to carry a flashlight. I've actually carried a couple different flashlights. But the last flashlight I was carrying every day, I lost. It fell out of my pocket and it's gone forever. And whenever I'm out, like on a job site or out in the woods or something, I have my field bag with me, which has a flashlight in it. I have a flashlight in every single field bag and in my IFAC. So if I need more of a flashlight, I usually have one within reach, but just for little quick stuff, the flashlight on my phone works well enough. And then, of course, I keep car keys. I've got some change in my pocket, and that's about it. Oh, one other thing is a nice thick one-piece leather belt, which holds my pants up, holds my gun in my pants, and it could double as a tourniquet. Not a super great tourniquet, but better than nothing. All right, let's take a closer look at this. Okay, so I explained quickly why I carry a flash drive, because I'm in tech. I keep tools on it. I can use it to transfer files quickly, and I keep tools on it to help fix computers, so that's handy. A lighter. Now, if I'm in a situation where I need to start a fire, light a candle, or whatever, I have this. Another thing that this is good for, that a lot of people, I think, don't think about nowadays, is that, especially in the line of work that I'm in, if you want to start a conversation with somebody that smokes, it is really easy to insert yourself into a conversation right as they're pulling that cigarette out and be like, oh, I got you. I got a light, or here, borrow my lighter. It also doubles as a bottle opener, if you know how to do that. Permanent marker is just handy for lots of different things. I'm always labeling things at work and just in my general life, and this is a super handy thing to have. A pen is for writing in the notebook, basically. And, whoops, I write down notes all the time at work. I'm not going to show you my notes, but it's super handy. It's also really handy if you need to give somebody a quick piece of information. You can open this up, write down that information, tear out a page, and give it to them. The other thing that I'm not going to show on camera, but that I have with me is business cards to, help promote my business. The folding knife, I buy cheap folding knives with Tonto blades, and again, I'm not a huge fan of Tonto blades. I prefer just a normal, curved drop point style knife. But I found that the straight edge, the straight tip on the Tonto blades is really useful for prying things. And I know a lot of people are going to give me crap for that because you're not supposed to pry with your pocket knife. But that's also why I buy cheap knives, so that I can beat the snot out of them. Also, I always buy knives that you can open with one hand, because there's situations that I'm in all the time where I've got something in the other hand, and so the only way to get my knife open is with one hand. So then I'll go in here. So in my wallet, I always keep cash, because if you're in a rough situation, well, first off, it's really convenient, but also in rough situations, you should always carry a gun and cash, because if you can't get it with one, you can get it with the other. Not saying you should rob anybody. I'm just saying it can help save your life. The other thing that I keep in my wallet is a key decoder. And I use this for security, audits, and that sort of thing. And that's really handy. And then along with that, I carry... let's see. I carry more lockpicks. This is just a little quick lockpick set that I keep in my wallet. And I actually don't always carry this lockpick set with me. If I'm not wearing cargo pants or cargo shorts, I won't carry this because it's just redundant. And then, yeah, so like I said before, clear. And very dusty and full of lint. I carry a SIG P365 XL, and this has been a very reliable sidearm for me, and it's easy to conceal. I have the red dot on there, but yeah, it's. I'm sure Ian would say that he carries one too. I'm sure he'd say it's fine as well. Now this holster is just an Alien Gear inside the waistband holster. I actually liked the one that I had before this better. It was smaller, and I don't remember what brand it was, but it was a Kydex style holster. But taking it in and out of my pants every day, eventually the clip broke off. So then this was the only other one available, and I actually had to modify it to fit my gun a little bit because it's meant for a normal size 365. So I had to actually cut out this part here because it was enclosed. And when I first got it, I was like, my gun is not clicking in there right, and I figured out why. So, but now it fits perfect. And I carry 2 12-round magazines because in the XL that's what's flush fit. And I carry Spear Gold Dot hollow points because that's what I have. And my EDC changes depending on the situation. Most of the time, this is what I'm carrying on my person, except, like I said, if I'm not wearing cargo shorts or cargo pants, I won't carry the extra lockpick set. That's pretty much it. I just move things to different pockets. And then, unlike Ian, I hardly ever wear basketball shorts in public. I'm kind of a real shoes and real pants in public kind of guy, unless I'm going to the gym. But then most of this stuff is in my gym bag. So,
in my defense, I like to appear homeless. There is a reason why I dress the way that I do.
That's fair.
It is because we had just had this conversation off camera. I'm pretty recognizable in this community based on my past history. And so if I can keep people from coming up to me and telling me their life story, I know that's terrible, but if I can look homeless, I would rather look homeless and kind of a little disheveled when I'm not at work.
We should do a video about like your just apparel and all that.
Because I may look like a soup sandwich, but there is an absolute reason why I dress the way that I do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We should do another one about apparel.
Yes.
Anyway. And when I'm out in the field, like out in the mountains and stuff, I'll carry a full frame handgun instead of this smaller one outside the waistband because we have very large animals here, and getting to your firearm quick is important. And I also carry my field bag most of the time, and that has other things in it. But that's about it. This is what I carry every day. As far as EDC and everyday carry, like I mentioned before, you shouldn't model your EDC off of somebody else, at least not exactly. Maybe you see something that somebody else carries and you think, oh, that's a good idea, that would be useful for me, and then you add it. But like, you carry handcuffs. I really have no reason to carry handcuffs.
Exactly.
Although we were talking briefly off camera, I have a handcuff key.
Yes.
But I don't carry it every day, but that might not be a bad thing to...
No, it wouldn't be a bad thing to carry. And without getting into too much detail, when I'm on duty, I carry multiple handcuff keys in all sorts of locations, just because I don't want to be, I've seen Reservoir Dogs. Exactly. That's not going to happen to me. So
exactly. Well, and the other thing too is like, I carry lock picks. Maybe you should too.
Maybe I should, yeah.
But somebody who doesn't know how to use them, lockpicks could potentially, depending on where you are, lockpicks could get you in a lot of trouble.
They could, and here's the other thing that you need to understand with lockpick, and it's the same thing with conceal. It's the same thing with EDC. You need to know what you're comfortable with doing and what you have the training and the ability to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you have the ability, I would shoot better with a full-size 1911 than I would with a subcompact. Yeah, but I know that I know what I'm comfortable with. I know what my, kind of prohibitions are. That's just it. I feel like if somebody was just carrying around a lockpick set, they'd be like, oh, I've seen this on TV, and it's actually a lot harder, than you would think.
Yeah. But then that, transitioning into carrying a firearm every day, there's a whole lot of considerations with carrying a firearm beyond just... of course you have to consider the laws, where you live and where you're going to be carrying, and are you legally allowed to carry a gun? What are the magazine restrictions, like where you're saying if you go to Washington?
Yes,
you're
10
only
rounds.
Yeah, you're only allowed to have 10 rounds. Here in Montana, there is no restriction.
Right. Idaho, no restriction. Montana. There's a bunch of states with no restrictions, but just because you live in a state and you're carrying a firearm that's legal within your state does not, by any stretch of the imagination, mean you will not get hemmed up in another state.
Right. Or permitting, too. In
Yes.
Washington, you have to have a license to carry. And I think Washington's pretty easy to get a concealed carry permit. I know when I lived in Washington it was, and I had one. But even as an out-of-stater, I think it's easy to get one.
So I think you have to get the enhanced now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, you have to get the enhanced. That's a whole other can. That's a whole other
Yeah.
can. But see, that's the deal, right? Like, do I agree with magazine restrictions? Absolutely not. Does that mean that if I go, even as a police officer, if I go into Spokane and I'm carrying my duty-issued Glock, but I'm not on duty, I'm going to get hemmed up. There's no, There's no two ways about it. That's just how it goes. So, like you said, knowing your laws, knowing what you can and can't do,
and then what you're capable of, like what you were saying with the lock picks. If you're going to carry a firearm every day, you need to be training with it so that if a situation arises where you have to use it, you can use it competently.
Yes.
And then I think the other thing too is, and I've talked to my wife about this, because we've discussed whether or not she wants to carry a gun, and it came up and I told her, and this might be a little spicy for YouTube, but I said, you have to be willing to pull the trigger. Because if you are not mentally able to pull that gun and use it to harm another human being, hopefully for justified reasons,
Yes.
then you shouldn't carry a gun. Because if you draw that gun and you're not able to pull the trigger, then that bad person could get that gun from you and harm you or somebody else with your gun, and then it's partially your fault.
And that is why I am such a proponent of concealed carry. Okay, Montana, Idaho, they're both constitutional carry, and I tell everybody, I recommend concealed carry versus open carry. Even as a police officer, I'll be honest with you, I hate open carrying. Mm-hmm. I understand wwhy. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm just saying that, like, you take one look and you're like, oh, that cop has a gun. I'm gonna go for that cop first.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm in the local store and I look like a homeless person, like I'm going for it, you wouldn't know it, and that's because then you're not. Once you draw that firearm, if you're gonna draw it, you're gonna use it, right? Yeah. I know that for you, I know that for me, but you're right. Taking into consideration the whole, can you as a human use it to justifiably harm another human?
Yeah. Well, and that was going to be my next thing, is open carry versus concealed carry.
Okay. Yeah.
And I completely agree. I think in a public urban setting, most of the time, it's inappropriate to open carry, even
100%.
Even though it's completely legal.
Yes.
In most places in the United States. I think actually constitutionally it's legal everywhere, but there's some states that are like, anyway. But I think it makes you a target. A lot of people don't. They don't have really really sophisticated duty holsters with multiple ways to
Yes.
retain their firearm.
Yes.
I see people all the time here that they'll have like a 1911 that they're open carrying in just a leather holster with no sort of retention except for friction.
Yes.
And you'll be this close to them behind them in the supermarket, and they're paying, and it's like, I could easily just,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden that gun's mine.
Yes.
And I'm sure you probably think about that, and you probably train about that with the police force.
I do, and so I've been. But this is kind of. I am taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes, and it's not just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's wrestling, there's boxing, so it's for law enforcement, right? And that last week, that's what we went over was weapon retention. Was we all brought our duty holsters, we had blue guns, and we tried getting each other's guns. I'll tell you what, it is a scary, scary, scary feeling. Even in training, when you have your buddy whom I've known, I was working with my chief, who I've known for 2 years. He's my boss. I'm friends with him. Trying to get my gun, it's like that's just a scary feeling because as soon as that gun's out of the holster and they have it, you're done. You know what I mean? Like that's it. And, there are ways around that, which I'm not gonna. That I would give away the surprise, and I'm not even gonna talk about it. But there are very brutal ways to make sure that doesn't happen.
Sure.
So, but no, I am very much a huge component of concealed carry. I see people walking around the store, and I I don't know if this is just me. Maybe this is based on my training, but you could tell me the same thing. The first thing I do whenever I walk into a store, I look around, I feel the crowd, and then I start looking people up and down, top to bottom. I'm like, okay, and it's like, oh, gun. Oh, he's printing. He's not. If you're going to conceal carry. Like try to get away from printing. But yeah, I'll look people up and down and be like, okay, he has a gun, he has a gun, she has a gun, he doesn't have a gun. You know what I mean? That's just,
Yeah, and criminals think that way.
Yes.
If a criminal is going into an establishment and they are, I think a lot of people that open carry feel as though they are trying to be a deterrent, and so they think that a criminal will walk into an establishment, see a gun on their hip, and be like, I don't want to mess with this guy, and then leave. I think that that's not the case.
I think you're absolutely right.
I think that just makes you a target.
Yes.
That bad guy is going to go after you first.
Yes.
And then once you're down, wreak havoc on everything.
Yes.
And then, so the only thing that you've done is put your life in danger first before everybody else.
Yes.
You have not deterred anybody. And around here, I'd say this isn't the case, but like in places like Washington, in bigger cities, it is legal to open carry in Washington State. But there's a lot of people that don't like guns there, and so it makes people around you uncomfortable.
Yes. And like I've said, if you have the ability to do so, conceal carry. I'm not, and that I'm a huge proponent of the Second Amendment. Like there's every gun law, as far as I'm concerned, is unconstitutional and shouldn't be a thing. However, common sense. Use some common sense. If you're going to carry and you have the ability to do so, conceal carry, and make sure you're out there training. Make sure that you're proficient with it. I mean that's really all I can add. If you're with responsibility, or with rights and freedoms comes responsibility. It's your responsibility to not be that first person that gets bonked on the head whenever a terrorist comes into your local Walmart, takes your gun, and now suddenly you are gunless. You are now a victim.
Right. Well, and it's true that you are responsible for every single bullet that comes out of your firearm.
Yes.
And I would say that includes if somebody takes your firearm and fires it.
Yes. Yeah, maybe not legally, but
maybe not legally, but again, if you're open carrying, somebody comes up behind you, steals your gun, and then shoots somebody with it, I'd say that you have partial responsibility for that.
100%.
Maybe not direct responsibility. I don't know that I would call that person a murderer.
No. But
I would say that they could have been concealed carrying. Yes. And potentially prevented that situation.
Yes. And the other thing, while we're talking about concealed carry, it depends. We both carry SIGs. We both carry the 365. I know yours is up. If you feel more comfortable concealed carrying a Glock 19, by all means, carry a Glock 19. You know what I mean? Like, and I do. I concealed carry my Glock 19 whenever, you know what I mean, whenever I'm doing like undercover work and stuff like that. It's not, you know.
Yeah, I have a buddy that concealed carries a Glock 19 all the time, and you couldn't even tell that he's got one.
Yeah.
I have a friend that carries a snub nose 38 revolver because that's just his preference, and you don't know that he's got a gun on him. You know, I don't know that it really matters what you carry as long as it is concealed properly. If you can conceal carry a full size 1911, go for it.
Yes.
Like whatever your preference is. Yeah. I don't know that there's a heck, if you can concealed carry an MP5 in your coat or something.
You know, it's entirely possible to conceal carry an AR pistol.
Yeah.
It is one, I mean, especially in the winter around here, 100%, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I'll be honest with you, if I could, I would.
Yeah.
You know, I would much rather carry an AR pistol than I would, you know, a little, you know, SIG 365.
Yeah, I don't want to go off into the weeds too much, but I really like the idea of concealed carrying PDWs.
Yes.
However, PDW is kind of they've always been a little bit too big to effectively conceal.
Yeah.
And then like too small to really use in any other situation, so they haven't really found their place yet. But I think technology is improving with like the Flux 365.
Yes. Not only the commercial for the Flux 365 was what sold me.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Awesome.
I was like, okay, all right, I'm buying one of these.
But anyway,
yeah.
So moving on from EDC, let's talk about things to consider carrying in your vehicle at all times. And now, just for security reasons, we're not going to talk about specifically what we carry in our vehicles at all times for security reasons.
Yes. It's a small town, and it's a small world. And
yeah. And I think maybe that's the right place to start from is, I think, advertising what you carry in your car, or sometimes what you keep in your garage or keep in your home or whatever, is not always the best idea, because let's say that you always carry some fancy gaming laptop in your car, and you always keep it under the passenger seat. If you start telling everybody that, if word gets out to the wrong people, then pretty soon you're going to find a busted window in your car and your laptop's going to be gone.
Okay, here's another one that might very well be controversial, but I'm going to say it. Bumper stickers. If you have bumper stickers on your car that are... Yeah, and everybody who's watching knows exactly what I'm talking about. You are literally just putting a neon sign in front of your car saying, steal the gun that's in this car, or steal the gear that's in this car. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Well, bumper stickers, again, I don't want to get into the weeds, but beyond those kind of bumper stickers can tell you a lot about somebody.
Yes.
And make you very vulnerable. But that's a discussion for another time. But I had a family member that had an RV, and they would drive around the country and stay in like Walmart parking lots or campgrounds. And they had a sticker on the door of their RV that said, the owner of this RV is heavily armed, and there's nothing in this RV worth losing your life over. And it's like, okay, I understand the sentiment. I agree with the sentiment. However, you're just advertising that now there's guns in the RV, and they just have to wait for you to leave.
The other thing is that a defense attorney is going to have a field day with that.
Oh yeah.
You knew my client was going to come in. You know what I mean? It's like, holy.
Yeah.
I think about what you're going to do before you do it, right? I mean, think about what message you're sending on your vehicle, because like Brad just said, if you have guns in your car and you're advertising, all this under-medicated and easily pit, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's bad.
Or even like a gun rack in a truck.
Yes.
I have a gun rack in one of my trucks, and I put my guns in it when I go up to the mountains, but they don't stay in that gun rack, because if I just kept it in there all the time, they're easily visible through the back window.
Yes.
So, and I see some people that just leave their guns in their gun rack when they go into the supermarket or whatever, which, again, around here, I don't know that Well, maybe.
You know,
there are some
Yeah.
people around here that like to steal stuff, but you're just advertising, or like if you have to, let's say it's hunting season. This is all like hypothetical.
Right.
Let's say it's hunting season. You have your hunting rifle in the front seat of your pickup truck, and you're going to stop at the gas station to get some Gatorade and some snacks before you head up in the mountains. Put a jacket over the gun so it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yes. See, while criminals, a lot of criminals are very much just like targets of opportunity. If they see something, they want it, they take it, right?
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. So it would be, it's one of the most basic things that you could do, but it's also one of the most effective. Make the car look like there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
If you look at my car, there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in there. So, and that's, again, just out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. So anyway, what are some things that the normal everyday citizen should consider carrying in their car?
I would start from front to back, I would say. Toilet paper.
Toilet paper, yes.
Toilet paper.
Yeah.
Now, for obvious reasons, it's fire starter. It's good. You could use it to signal. I mean, if you're in the woods.
I was thinking even just like you sneeze and you need to wipe your nose.
That's what I'm saying. Is you know what I mean? There is a bajillion uses for toilet paper that people wouldn't even think about.
Yeah. So I used to make fun of my wife because, you go through fast food occasionally, and then she would take all the napkins and put it in her glove box. And I kind of be like, why are you saving that? This, whatever. But then there's been times where we've been on a road trip as a family and, oh no, I accidentally spill a drink in my lap.
Right.
Or whatever, and, she got something to wipe it up.
Yes.
But yeah, I think toilet paper is a good one. What's the next thing?
First aid kit.
I completely agree.
And then when we're talking first aid kit, we're not talking your basic first aid kit. We're talking straight up trauma. Because think about it. What's the number one thing you're probably going to run into in your vehicle?
A car accident.
That's wrong. If you're going to be involved in a car accident, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be a huge trauma thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be, you're going to need your tourniquets, your chest seals, you know what I mean, whatever it is that you're going to carry. I would, car accidents are very, very bad,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's one of those things where you want to make sure that your first aid kit, you're trained with it, it's a good first aid kit, and you have everything you need.
Yeah, and when you're building out the first aid kit for your car, thinking of what situations could I be in, car accident is a big one. If you are constantly, going up in the mountains, maybe something like bug repellent is a good idea too.
Yes.
Or sting relief or something like that.
And again, that's the cool thing about a car is that it doesn't really affect anything. You know what I mean? If you have sting repellent, throw it in the car. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you're humping it around on your back all the time.
Yeah, and I would say it doesn't have to be super complicated.
No,
it doesn't have to be in some cool IFAC pouch. You can put it in a gallon Ziploc bag.
That's how mine. That's how mine is set up. It's in a gallon Ziploc bag. It's like it's all there.
Yep.
Yeah,
and so then moving on from that, I would say as well, something to carry in your car is recovery gear, and not necessarily like off-road recovery gear, unless you are going off-road. Then you should have off-road recovery gear.
Right.
But like, I'm talking, you drive a Toyota Camry every day and you're always on the road. You ought to have something to be able to change your tire with. And most cars come with a jack and a tire iron. But if you buy a used car, make sure that that's still there. And if not, then get some.
Yes.
Road flares are not a bad idea.
So the road flares aren't a bad idea, but the new technology that they have these pucks, and they're LEDs.
Oh,
dude, there's so much. I like them way better. Like, I mean,
no fire.
Yeah, I also enjoy going, but no, they have these pucks, and you can get rechargeable batteries for them, and they do strobe light. They do the amber strobe lights, and they work really well. In fact, police departments have gotten away from actual road flares and gone to those. So I have like a pack of them in my car. I could just
Well, and they're reusable.
Yes.
You just put batteries in them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, and
And they don't like flares. Over time, flares will degrade. I've seen flares like they're gonna suck in moisture.
Yep.
That doesn't happen with these. They're very much like they're inert. You know what I mean? You just press the button. It's a light. You're done.
And if they roll off the road, they won't start a wildfire.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to look into those.
Yeah.
So, but along those same lines, in Europe, I don't know if it's required or not, but I know my BMW has a spot in the toolkit for one of those little reflective triangles.
Yes.
Those fold-out ones.
Yes.
And it's funny because I did some research because my car doesn't have one, but it's got a spot for
Yeah.
it. In Europe, they came with those reflective triangles, and in the United States, they did not.
Right.
Because of some sort of law or
Right.
something.
Right.
So even something like that, just to warn other drivers of, hey, I'm having troubles.
Yes.
It's not a bad idea.
The other thing that I would highly recommend everybody get, and this, I mean, it's expensive. It is, but a car jump pack. So, I got one. Shout out to Project Farm. He did a review on car jump packs, and I ended up buying the one. It could start a 5.7 diesel.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, well, if it could start a 5.7 diesel, it'll be able to start my V6 Toyota. I have used that thing a bunch, and for like cop cars, because cop cars are notorious for going dead. Like that's just what they do.
Because you got a bunch of equipment running all the time.
And I have had to jump my car. I've had to jump friends' cars, and I mean it's been great. And so the one time I did have to use it to jump the Toyota, super easy. Like it's also a tire pump. So I mean that's just one of those things. Yes, it was about $80 or $90 as an initial investment, but it's like already paid for itself because I haven't been stranded. Like it's pull it out, use it, and then that's it. You know.
Yeah, and $80 or $90 is, in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty cheap insurance.
Yes.
Now, if you don't have the $80 or $90 to buy something like that, you got $15. You could just buy normal jumper cables too.
Yes.
You know, it's not a bad thing to have.
Right.
To jump yourself or to jump somebody else. With the jumper cables, you have to make sure you know how to hook it up properly.
Yes.
So you don't burn anything down.
Yes.
But they're pretty straightforward and they're inexpensive.
Yes. Yes. Again, just something when your car goes dead. I also have a small set of tools. Like, I'm not carrying around, but I mean, I have a couple of ratchets, a couple of wrenches, just because stuff gets loose or whatever. You need to fix it.
Yeah. So another thing that I think you ought to carry in your car. This is kind of two things in one, I guess, but a radio, and I mean that two different ways. I mean some sort of like AM/FM radio, and that could be the radio that's built into your car. But if that doesn't work, then just buying a cheap battery-powered AM/FM radio, or one of those ones you have to crank up or whatever, and a two-way radio.
Yes.
I think those are both good things to consider keeping in your car for, you drive down the interstate and there's those big blue signs that say for emergency information tuned to whatever, 5:30 a.m.
Right.
And some of the information, sometimes those things, they give really good information and they're in areas where you don't get cell service.
Yes.
Again, with the two-way radio, we talked about that earlier too.
Yes.
You could call dispatch or call for help.
Yes.
If you need to.
So there are stretches here where there's no cell service.
There's a lot of stretches here with no cell service.
I would have to use, and considering I'm commuting, I do have my radio. It's in, and it's like it's already set to where I got to go. You know what I mean? And I'll call it in on the radio because I don't have cell service.
Yep.
Yeah. So absolutely a two-way radio. I would also bring into consideration like having some form of. So if you live in the world where national forest is everywhere, we were just talking about it. Having a shovel and a bucket are mandatory. They're actually citable offenses for not having. So if Forest Service gets a hold of you and you don't have it, it's a citable thing.
Yeah, which I didn't know.
Yeah,
but
so I would say some form of entrenching tool or some form of shovel, something. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a big shovel. It can be a small little compact shovel.
Yeah, one of those foldable ones.
Yeah, and something to hold to hold dirt or hold water. Hell, even hold water. I mean, it just,
Yeah, it could come in handy. Or it could even just be something, too. You have to change the tire on the side of the road. It's something to flip over and sit on.
Yes.
I think another thing, I mean, what you carry in your car changes on where you're going.
Yes.
But overall, I think those are good things. Another thing I think people should consider, especially in places where it can get colder, is a blanket and or a sweatshirt.
Yes.
Because if you're out, you might think, okay, well, the heater in my car keeps me warm, but what if your heater stops working, or what if your car breaks down?
So that's happened before. People have slid into snowbanks and during a blizzard, and you can't find them. It gets cold, so you need to have something to make sure that you're staying warm, and using your car's heater is not always an option. I know that some people have exhaust leaks and things that'll kill you. So a blanket, some form of sweatshirt. The other thing that I think is actually super important and is kind of overlooked is food and water. I mean, whatever, freeze dried food or snacks or something, but definitely having water and food in your vehicle at all times. You just don't know what you're going to run into.
Yeah, and I would say that the food could even just be like a couple power bars.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Yeah, you don't have to have a week's worth of food in your car. Just something to get you through if you are stuck for a little while.
Yes. And, again, I'm redundant I would be redundant with water, so I would say not only having water, but having a way to make more water if you had to. You know what I mean?
And one more important thing that I think a lot of people overlook is if you're going on a long trip or you're going out of town, fill your tank.
Yes. I have a rule, half means empty.
Yep.
Half means empty every single time,
yep.
And if it gets to half, I'm like, oh, got to fill up.
Yeah.
And I know that the sending unit on my vehicle is wrong. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
I'd rather, I'd rather fill it up and have that peace of mind that, Yep.
Yeah, actually, I have a story, just real quick, about how that was really important in a situation I was in. But me and a couple buddies, just out of high school, decided to go wheeling in the snow, and we were very inexperienced and young and dumb. And it was me and one buddy were in one truck, and then we had two other buddies in another truck. And we went up in the mountains, and we both got stuck at the same time and could not get unstuck. And we had to spend the night in the mountains with no cell service. We didn't have any radios with us, which was another mistake. But both of our trucks had 2 fuel tanks, and both of us had filled up both tanks.
Nice.
And so we were never in fear of running out of fuel. And in fact, we ended up all sleeping in my buddy's truck, and it was a diesel, and we ran it all night to run the heater to keep us warm. And in the morning, we still had plenty of fuel to get back off the mountain.
Right.
So, but if we had gone up there on half a tank, it's very possible it would have been a whole lot more difficult to recover our vehicles, because we would have had to figure out how to get back to town.
Yes.
Fill up fuel jugs, go back up there, put the fuel in the trucks, hopefully have enough out of those jugs to get the trucks unstuck and back into town without having to go back to town to get more fuel. So,
yeah, half means empty.
I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Anything else that you can think of, just regular, everyday, all the time, to consider keeping in your car? Oh, actually, I got one.
Okay.
A flashlight.
Yes. Yes.
Just throw it in your glove box.
Yes, 100%. A way to make fire.
Yeah.
A way to make fire.
A lighter or some matches.
Yes, some way to make fire.
Yeah.
And a knife.
Yeah.
I mean, cutting a seatbelt, cutting, whatever you got to do. A knife is a.
Yeah. Or cutting up the The summer sausage that you...
Yes. That you need absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't recommend people carry firearms. I mean, that's entirely their choice if that's what they choose to do.
So that was the next thing I wanted to transition into. What do you think about keeping a firearm in your vehicle at all times? And I'm not talking about like you've got one on your person and you get in the vehicle and like take it out and put it in a holster in the vehicle. I'm talking about one that lives in the vehicle.
I can say that me personally, I agree with it, but I can't give that recommendation to everybody else because I don't know their particular situation.
Sure.
I don't know what their particular laws are. I don't know any of that, but I can say for me, that is, yeah, I would agree with that. What about you?
I'm kind of in between. I think maybe for some people it could be a useful thing, but also there's just a lot of security things
that's the issue.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
If you do end up having a truck gun, I think it needs to be very well concealed, and it needs to be secured in a way that is really only accessible by the person that needs to use it.
Yes, 100% agreed. And I don't know what that would look like for each individual person.
I mean, it's going to be different for each person. It's going to be different for each vehicle.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know if I could recommend it either. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea for some people, and I think it could be a bad idea for other people.
100%.
Yeah.
And what about body armor? What do you think about that?
I think it's kind of the same thing. I think maybe for some people it could be beneficial. I think, again, it depends on where you live, what kind of situations you could find yourself in. Around here, I don't know. I don't know that there's much practical use for it. I think the other thing, too, is depending on where you live, there are certain states and certain people that are really weird about civilians owning body armor. And so I could see if you got pulled over and your body armor wasn't concealed well enough, or if for some reason the officer searched your vehicle because you gave them consent or whatever, and they found it, that could look weird.
Yes. Yeah, I will be honest, it's hard for me as a law enforcement official to think along the same lines as other law enforcement officials in different places. Like I'm following some friends that I grew up with who've gotten into law enforcement, and some of the things that they say that they've done, like I take it that's a topic for a whole nother.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that, like you said, whatever your local laws are, obviously make sure that you are checking and you are within those laws.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it can potentially be a good thing. I think
it could save your life.
Yes.
Yeah. But
so,
I kind of put that in the same thing as like the lockpicks, where depending on where you are and what you're doing and where you're going, if you have a run-in with police, the lockpicks could make you look like a criminal.
Yes.
The body armor could potentially make you look like a criminal.
Yes.
Or even things like, we've touched on it a little bit, but I don't think we've talked about it in depth. Even the type of ammo that you carry in your concealed carry gun.
Yes.
Could potentially make you look like a criminal or make you seem like you have intent in court.
Yes. And in some states, hollow points are illegal, flat out. You have to carry ball ammunition. Mm-hmm. So, and I know that New Jersey's that way. I know that New Jersey, you have to have under 10 rounds, and it has to be ball ammunition. So, again, know your local laws, but this is always a good thought experiment. Like take a second today as you're watching this video to think to yourself, hey, what is best for me? What is best for my EDC? What is best for my particular situation? What is best for my vehicle?
Yeah, and
that's all this is. This is just one big thought experiment.
Yeah, and try to think about what situations do you think you could find yourself in, and then at what likelihood those events are going to happen, and how easy it is to prepare for those. There's actually I think it's a matrix. I think it's called like a risk assessment matrix.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with those.
Yeah. So maybe we can find one of those and put it up on screen or something. Yeah. But using something like a risk assessment matrix to design your EDC, I think is not a bad idea.
No, not at all. I just know that the reason I carry what I carry is just based on experience. Just knowing that, hey, I ran into a situation where I needed this and I didn't have it, so now I make sure I have it.
Yeah. But again, like, we live in the same town.
Yes.
We deal with a lot of the same people all the time, but our EDCs are very different because the situations we're in can be very, very different.
Yes, 100%. And there's no such thing as an EDC that's perfect for everybody. There's just not.
That's very true.
Well,
you got anything else to add?
No, guys. If I want to hear what you don't have to put your EDC down in the comments, but I'd like to hear kind of what you think. If you maybe there are some things that you put in that you think should be put in your car that we didn't go over, things that you think should be a part of an EDC that we didn't go over. I'd love to hear it because again, it's based on experience, and that's just how I'm going to learn. I'm going to be like, look at that, and be like, oh, okay, that's why this person. I like that. I have found myself in that same situation, but I got a different outcome because of this. Where I think that would be a really cool thing.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I saw some video of this guy that lived in England, and he was talking about his EDC.
Yes.
Oh, maybe you watched.
You told me about it.
Oh yeah, and he carried a little pry bar, like this little tiny pry bar. It was kind of this little multi-tool thing, and I was like, why would you need to carry a pry bar? But he explained that like he uses it all the time, and here's how he uses it and why he uses it, and I was like, oh, that makes a whole lot of sense for that guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll also in the comments put down there, what are your thoughts on carrying body armor in your car?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on carrying a gun in your car? And what are your thoughts on open carry versus concealed carry in public?
Yes.
We're not talking like out in the mountains.
No, mountains is a whole different animal. Mountains don't count.
Yeah, we're talking about like in public, around other people, like at the supermarket.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.